What do an old cabinet door from a free pile, vintage Shakespeare book pages, a thrifted spindle, and a little scrap wood have in common? At first glance, absolutely nothing. But I love finding things that someone else may have overlooked and seeing what they could become. So today, we're taking a few of those rescued treasures and giving them a whole new life. Saved, styled, and loved all over again. Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I have some fun crafts for you today. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. We'll move right on into project number 1. For this project, well, first a little bit of Bella on the left, but for this project, I didn't show cutting anything up because there really wasn't a whole lot of excitement to it, okay? Let's get Bella taken care of and let's mess with this. So this board came from my scrap pile. It was already this size. I left it. This was a little bit bigger. I just kind of cut it down on the sides, and this was a scrap board as well, and I just cut them down to size. That's it. But let's get measurements. This is about 10¼ inches tall and about 12, a little bit longer than my ruler, 13¼ inches wide. This board is about 8¼ inches wide, and the tallest part, because it's kind of a broken piece, about 2½ inches. All of these boards are about 1¼ inches wide, and this shorter one again is about 8¼ to match the other board, and these run about 14⅛ or so in length, the other two boards just the same, and I'm going to arrange them just like this. But before we glue them on, I'm going to take Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Magnolia, and I'm just going to give it a couple of coats in the center. I like to spray it with water as I'm painting it just to kind of dilute it out a little bit, let the paint go further, because usually when I do this, I'm wondering, do I want to just do one coat so it's a little softer, or go ahead and do 2 coats, and then I always end up doing 2 coats, but there you go. But just kind of the center of that board. And then, of course, I'm coming in with my electric sander, and I'm just going to sand it. Now, I did want it a little bit darker. It ended up being sanded lighter, but it was still okay. I wanted to kind of have that powdery, soft effect, but still be able to see a little bit more. But like I said, it's still okay. And in the end, it is just fine. All right, now I'm going to take wood glue here and get our pieces on. All right. And then, of course, you can see all the clamps over to the right side because I'm going to clamp this up really well. So I'm going to get this piece on and set my other pieces in place to make sure that I can get this bottom board on with just enough space to get the 2 side pieces on. And, of course, I will clamp each piece as I go along. One more clamp here, and then we'll go to the side pieces. And you can see there I'm just doing about 3/4 of glue because some of the wood does hang off of my main board. All right, get that clamped in, and then we'll go to the last piece of wood. I love it. It was actually a larger piece, but it kind of broke off when I was cutting the length down. But that is perfectly wonderful. We'll glue it down. It gives it character, and clamp it down. All right, so here's what it looks like when it's all done, ready to go. All right, now you could go this way with it. All right, and you don't have to do a thicker bottom. You can make them all the same length board. Of course, I'm going to go this way with it and have that thicker side. I will have a free printable for you on my blog. I thought this was super cute. I saw this quote on Pinterest. I designed it how I wanted to design it. Of course, cut it out in vinyl. You'll have a PDF to work with and a PNG to work with. I'll also have the fonts listed down below if you just want to kind of take care of it and design it yourself. Of course, the PNG you can take into your electronic cutting machine and work with it. The PDF, some tracing paper, you can paint it, or, you know, if you have beautiful handwriting, do that yourself, however you want to go about it. I know this is a little bit more modern than the other 2 projects, but I definitely love the rustic of the wood. Now this piece, I thought I showed you before, but I guess I didn't. It is a hanger from Hobby Lobby, and it's a really thick piece of wood, and I literally just cut it in half because it was like 2 inches thick. And of course, it does have this hanger on it. All right, but yeah, the back wood piece was like 2 inches thick, and I just cut half of that off. And then, of course, I'm going to screw the hanger back onto the piece of wood. All right, I liked it because it was a little bit rustic, but the iron hook was a little bit more modern to go with the quote at the same time. Now, you could use it as the hook, of course, as like if you needed to hang keys, but a lot of us don't have, you know, just one pair of keys. But you could also like wooden shapes like stars for 4th of July and Christmas, or you could go like the, and decorate them, of course, or flower shapes for spring and summer, or you could go like the heart shape for Valentine, just change out the different shapes for holidays, for like decor versus hanging keys. Now I'm taking black paint mixed with water. I like to put it on my fan brush, wipe off the excess, and then just splatter a little bit on the frame. I don't want to do too much splatter because I want the splatter as an accent, all right? Not as, when you look at it, the first thing you see is splatter. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit onto the wood here so that it blends in with the sign itself, all right? And then I'm going to bring back my wood glue and get our little key holder on here. And then I, of course, will clamp this down. And of course, you all know me, it's got to be just perfect. So I'm going to measure it so I'm perfectly even top to bottom, side to side. Once I get this clamp down, that makes this project easy and complete. We'll take a look at the results at the end of the video. Let's head right on into project number 2. So this project was a wood board. It's already got a hanger on it, thrifted from Goodwill. I love the rusticness of it. And what's funny is, I'll get it to the side here in a minute. It's like thick at the top and thin at the bottom. And it reminded me of just like, you know, a clipboard or a scroll or something. So that's what I was going for. I have this old Shakespeare book found just like this at a garage sale. I love the main part. I'm keeping it that way, but pages have fallen out. So I don't mind taking a few more pages out. I've got a piece of cardboard here for the bottom, show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. And then I've got some of the book pages here. Now, I know this is kind of a weird looking sign. It might not be for everybody, but I love how it looks. It is different. Now, I chose this title, All's Well That Ends Well, because it is a Shakespearean play, kind of a comedy about, you know, a couple of lovers and the mishaps they happen. They finally end up at the end together. And it will go with the quote that I want to put on this book page that came out the front of the book, and I'm just going to print it on the book, and I want to on the paper, and I want to arrange my pages so they all look a little haphazard there. All right, and then this is a spindle, of course, thrifted. I cut it directly in half. I didn't show doing that because I did show that kind of on my last video, cutting a scroll or a spindle with my bandsaw. I'll have that video linked down below if you missed it. But this kind of reminded me of a little scroll, of course. I sanded it just a little bit to bring some light tones of wood out, and I'm going to do it like this. All right? Again, so it kind of looks like like old-timey, you know, way back when, old-timey, here comes the story, way back when, and you open the scroll to read, you know, whatever. Hear ye, hear you. It's kind of what it reminded me of. Anywho, as you can see, I'm just kind of spot gluing the pages together, and then off camera, I'm going to sew around the whole bundle of pages. Here is that. That's what it looks like. I thought the sewing gives it a little bit of an old look, right? And now I'm going to take my paper here and just run it through my computer. I'm going to use the PDF version. You can see the quote to the left. I found it online. I thought it went perfectly with the title that I'm, you know, allowing to be seen up above this paper here. I'm going to just print it off camera. Here's what it looks like. I sewed around it a little bit so you can see that. I just thought it went perfectly, and I love the quote. All right, and then before we do one more little bit of sewing, I'm taking my Distress Oxide ink and Vintage Photo, and these are little makeup brushes you can get at Dollar Tree. I love them because they just give you a soft inked look, and I'm just going around the outer edges and on the edges so it darkens up some of the stuff. I know this page already has that staining on it, but I'm just going to do a tad bit more, mainly around the outer edges of those deckled pages, right? If you know what I'm saying, it's kind of got that deckled, and the ink along that will be perfect. Now I'm taking Distress Oxide ink in Walnut Stain, and this cardboard is mainly just to have a stability to kind of hold my papers. I know the wood is stable, but I don't know, it just lifts it up a little bit more too. And I'm just inking around all the edges, and then just like an inch around all the sides on one side, because the back's going to be glued down, of course. All right, okay, I want to get these arranged how I want, again, so that the little title shows from the original Shakespeare book along with the little quote, so that it goes together, and we're going to take it to the sewing machine. Well, you thought I wasn't going to show you? You guys always want to see it, so I'm like, I'll just show it at the very end. And I know I already sewed around the first sheet, but now I want to sew it to all the other little, you know, pages, and so I'm doing a second little border, and I think that will kind of help that little quote kind of stand out even more because it's got like a double border around it. Okay, now I'm going to glue my cardboard down, and you don't have to use like this if you don't want to. I just thought it would also give a little bit more around the edges to kind of help pop the pages up as well, if you know what I mean. And then I'm going to glue my pages down. Again, this one might not be for everybody, but maybe it'll give you an idea. All right. I just love the look of the book pages and the vintage and this inking and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm taking the black paint mixed with water, fan brush again, adding some splatters. And as you can see, I'm just like doing splatters and like areas, not over the whole thing. And I will add a little bit onto the spindle so that the spindle, you know, coordinates in with our sign. And I'm going to go ahead and just use my Fabri-Tac glue and glue that on to the left. I did think about gluing it to the top, but in the end, I kind of decided to the left. And now I have this kind of red and cream plaid ribbon, and I tied it into a bow. And you're thinking, well, now this looks more like Valentine. Indeed, it does. But you can always have a little bit of love around the house any time of the year, correct? So I'm just going to hot glue that onto the spindle a little bit, and then wrinkle and crinkle my little tails, gluing them into place. Just a little spot glue so it holds. Once I do that, that makes this project complete. We'll take a look at the results at the end of the video. Okay, let's move on to our last project, number 3. So easy. I found this old cabinet door in a free pile at the Restore, and I was saving it for Christmas, but then I found this cool old picture of a recipe, and I'm like, I need to use it on that cabinet door, and that's what I'm doing. I am going to take Dixie Belle drop cloth paint and kind of do what we did on the very first sign, add some paint here. I almost considered not doing anything at all and just adding a little quote, but I thought I'll get it paint on here and I'll make it all soft like that very first sign we did, and then it didn't quite work out, so I changed it up, but still I'm okay that I painted it. But here I come in with my electric sander and see how like big chunks are coming off. It's not sanding the way it did the first time on that first project, and I think it's because the texture of the wood behind it or something. So in the end, I leave a few little spots, but I'm going to skip to the next scene where I have sanded it all off. I saved you from that. And now I'm coming in with paintbrush again, really watered down. And as I paint it, I kind of barely let it dry for like 30 seconds, and then I wipe it with a towel. I kind of, you can see the towel on my left hand, I kind of save you from that. But then I come in with a really dry brush, like I dip it into paint, wipe it off on the towel, and come in and kind of do a powder effect. Again, still wiping in between coats to get this look. And I think it looks better because it almost looks like, you know, it's a recipe card I'm putting on here. So it almost looks like someone just flung a little flower onto our cabinet door, right? Now I want to come in and add a little bit heavier paint spots, just a few, heavier, so it looks like a little bit of peel paint as well. Heat dry those and then sand them down just a little bit. But I love this cabinet door because it also kind of reminds me of the, you know, like a bread box door. I don't know why, but maybe a bread box door that's kind of like a roll top desk that rolls up. All these stories are in my brain, but I just think it works. And to finish it off, I'm coming in with dry brush of paint and just kind of going over the little lock area and around the sharp edges of the outer part of the frame, that kind of thing. So it kind of blends into the front of our door and all looks cohesive. Here's what it looks like. Love it. Now I'm coming in with another quote. I've cut it out in vinyl. I will have a link to my blog in the description box with the PDF, PNG, and I will have the fonts listed down below. Now I originally saw this quote. It was a picture of a recipe card on Pinterest, and I loved it. And I even loved the handwriting it was in. But I went online to, like, you know, try and find it using keywords like grandma's handwriting or grandma's recipe handwriting, anything. I did find something, but it was like $20 a download. I'm like, nope. So I found a font, again, listed in the description box where I got it, free download, that I thought looked like grandma's old handwriting, and that's how I came up with it. But I loved the handwriting. Now I love this quote because look at where it says shortening size of an egg. Wow. Okay, I can cook, but my husband cooks better. I can bake, but my husband bakes better. But I have to measure everything, and my husband will just throw a dollop of this or a dollop of that. So I can see shortening size of an egg on him. Did any of you, I'm just wondering, grow up with, you know, grandma or mom that, like, that's how they did things, shortening the size of an egg? I'm just curious. Anyway, so I'm getting my quote down, and I'll just slowly, it worked because it is a little thinner writing to kind of pull up at an angle as Bella plays with a little bit of the sticky. She loves that stuff. Anyway, this is what it looks like all done. It looks great. And of course, we're going to add in some splatters. Again, just in specific areas, not all over. Off camera, you'll see in the final looks, I do come in with like a drop cloth paint, mix with water and add just a tiny bit of white splatters as well. Now I'm coming in with that vintage photo and I think the walnut stain, and I'm just going to add a little bit more staining to it just to give it a lot more of a vintage look. And I'm going to take the ink pad and just rub it along the outer edges of that as well. Wrong, it was not walnut stain. I came in with black soot, there's some areas of black already, and I just kind of wanted to, make them stand out a little bit more, but not too much. Once I do that, that makes this yummy vintage project complete. So I hope you enjoyed taking some rescued treasures and giving them a whole new life today. Again, saved, styled, and loved all over again. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know which project you would make right now, or if you like walking down like a mercantile store, if you saw one of these, which one would you want for your home? Please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow, as does whenever you push that hype button. And thank you, my sweet friends who always push that hype button for me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you walked in here for the first time and you're checking things out, you're digging what you saw, make sure before you click off, you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. Now, before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. In the Bible, the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verses 1 through 3, it says, "O Lord, you have searched me thoroughly and have known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up, my entire life, everything I do. You understand my thought from afar. You scrutinize my path and my lying down, and you are intimately acquainted with all my ways." Pursuing the excellence of Christ, no matter your circumstance, means actively seeking the holy characteristics of God. When you intentionally focus on His character, strength, and power, it shifts your perspective. You begin to look past the immediate trials you are facing at your specific address in this massive world, and you start to see the larger picture of who is holding you. It's easy to feel small and forgotten in a world this big. When bills pile up, health fails, or loneliness creeps in, we often feel like an anonymous face in a crowd of billions. We look at our current situation and wonder if God has lost track of us. But the truth is this: God knows your exact coordinates. He sees the room you are sitting in, and He knows the exact thing you are going through. So when life feels overwhelming, you need to shift your focus to the true character of God. When you pursue His excellence by meditating on His unsearchable greatness and His absolute sovereignty, it will change your thought process. Knowing how perfect God is and that He makes absolutely no mistakes will push out worry, give your mind rest, and replace your panic with His peace. Your hope will be renewed. Not because your circumstances instantly change, but because you remember how great your God is. As Isaiah chapter 40 verse 28 reminds us, the Lord is an everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. And when you lean on His strength, His word also promises in Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. No matter what you are facing, don't focus on the storm. Look up and focus on the excellence of God and His unchanging character. Allow God to remind you that He is bigger and He is more powerful. The Creator of the universe knows your name, cares about your address, and as He turns His attention directly to your situation, He is ready to renew your strength. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.